Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. The Tennessee Titans kick off the preseason tomorrow night against the San Francisco 49ers at Nissan Stadium, and wall-to-wall coverage lives here on The Zone. The Lee Company countdown to kickoff hits the air at 3. Titans countdown starts at 5 for a 6 p.m. kickoff with Mike Keith and Coach Mack on Titans Radio. Titans Talkback will take you home after the game. Head coach Brian Callahan talked after practice yesterday, said Harold Landry, Ryan Stonehouse, tight end Nick Vanette among the players that will not play tomorrow, but for the most part, starters will be out on the field for at least 1 or 2 series against the 49ers. Team USA men's hoops trailed by as much as 17 to Serbia on Thursday. They went into the fourth quarter down 13, but came back, outscoring Serbia 32-15 in the fourth quarter to win 95-91 and move on to the gold medal match where they will take on host France. That will be tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, Team USA women's basketball beating Australia 85-64 in the Olympic semifinal as they move on to the gold medal match. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
$29 hours. That is all we are from kickoff of Titans and 49ers, which you'll be able to hear every single second of that right here on 104.5 The Zone. Pregame for that will begin at 3 o'clock. Our own Blaine Bishop going to be down at the stadium, broadcasting from Nissan Stadium ahead of the game as we're all getting ready for that. We've had preseason games last night. 2 of them has taken place as he's the hitman Blaine Bishop. I am Joe Hunk, brought to you by All 4 Seasons Garage Doors. And is it too early to go ahead and start getting not your preseason crush, but getting too excited about one preseason game and players playing in it?
Oh, no. This is the perfect time, training camp and everything else. Yeah, why not? You already got a crush already?
I do. I already, I have questions. I'm going to ask you this. Since you're talking about crush, let's start with one you just he irks you, and I already think I know the answer. Is that Chig's fumbling? Oh, no, Chig's fumbling is number one. Matter of fact, look, if this is a race, okay?
God, you went on a sprinter right there, man.
You know my trigger. Yeah. My trigger between Chig's fumbling and Will Levis's ratings on Madden. Those are my 2 triggers.
Oh, okay, got you.
If you say either one of those, I'll just go off on a tangent. Okay. But Chig and his fumbling will always be my trigger when it comes to what I'm not wanting to happen tomorrow night. Oh. I am so ready to watch this team, and we're going to evaluate and over-evaluate. I know Blaine and I I'll send Blaine a video and go, okay, this is what I'm seeing. Can you tell me if I'm seeing the right thing or the wrong thing?
You've been pretty on point, though. You've been pretty on point.
It's only because of you and Coach Mack. It's only because of you guys.
You knew it was in there.
But I'm now so ready for things to happen, but at the same time, there's things I don't want to happen. I don't want Will Levis, or I should say I don't want Malik Willis to have a bad game. I don't want to see Malik Willis from 2 years ago or from last year. I don't want to see Chig fumbling. Obviously, nobody wants to see injuries, but we're thinking about what we do and don't want to see tomorrow night, and I'm already watched.
And but you're also thinking about who you have a crush on.
Yeah, I already have a crush, and I hate it because it's not a crush that I think of. Man, if that guy was a Titan. Season would be totally different.
Other teams? I thought you
on other teams, just from the 2 games last night.
I thought you were talking about the Titans team.
No, now I do have crushes on this Titans team. Again, in the total.
You can only choose one there, Hunk. You only got one wife, so you can only have one crush.
I know. But my son, I just found out, has multiple girlfriends. He's 5. Can I be like that? I did.
You're supposed to, because they're all just friends.
We are in the 5th day of kindergarten, and my son came home last night. It's so I got a girlfriend. Her name's Caroline. I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, do you remember ever saying that at 5? First of all, I don't remember 5, but I don't think I was saying that at 5.
I can't remember if I said this at 5.
We
but I know
had
what,
to bring in Reed.
Yeah, Reed, you're closer to 5 than what we are.
Do you remember 5 saying, oh, I like this girl. She's my girlfriend. The other girl, oh, she's my girlfriend too.
I think I was too busy playing outside and getting hurt.
I don't recall. Like
he came
I don't
home
think
and
I
he
was
said
that
this.
interested at 5.
First off, my wife, first thing she said is, "You're not getting a girlfriend." And I said, whoa, hold up. Tell me about this girl. Hold on, I want to know.
No girls.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, it's Caroline, and then there's like Maddie, and I'm going, wait, you've got 2? When I was in kindergarten, I had 0.
Oh, right.
He goes, yeah, but this morning I was getting him ready for school, which my son is just now learning to tie his shoes.
Oh, that's awesome. So I just got by there and just got all Velcro.
Yeah, well, we've tried that. It makes getting out of the house quicker. But I'm tying his shoe because he couldn't do it. And next thing you know, he goes, my wife is FaceTiming her mother, and she goes, tell him about your girlfriend. Tell him about your girlfriend. She's showing the phone to me. He goes, yeah, I have a girlfriend. She kissed me twice yesterday.
Oh.
Whoa. You got 2 kisses yesterday? And so
Hey, man, watch out, these 5-year-olds are fast now, Joe.
I'm telling you. I was like, you got 2 kisses. He's like, yep, she kissed me twice yesterday on the playground.
Oh, wow.
My wife's like, where? He's like, on the playground. She's like, no, on your body. Where?
Oh, your body?
She goes, well, she kissed me on the cheek. One on one cheek, one on the other cheek.
Okay.
I don't have a crush like that on the Titans. Like, I'm not that committed as my son already is to this Caroline girl that I've never seen before because it's day 5 of kindergarten. Like, but I'm sitting and I'm already thinking to myself, man, I'm just crossing my fingers because I've watched games last night, and it's not like a Hendon Hooker thing because Hendon Hooker did play well against the Lions, but I'm just going, that little piece I'm not looking for piece number 4 or 5. I'm looking at like piece 47 or 48, like that guy that could be in a rotational player, like those things.
Yeah,
but
right.
Man,
not a starter, a guy is gonna make team, but a guy who may contribute more than you think, or may make the roster. Who you like? I'd love to see him make the roster there.
And for me, like I have all these questions, especially when it comes to the way the quarterback rule is now. Like, I know that we automatically, and even Jim Wyatt, who we've talked to, and he's going to be joining us in 11 minutes from right now, we've talked about, Mason Rudolph is your number 2. Like, you didn't bring him in to be the number 3. Like, he is the number 2. So you look at Malik and you think, all right, well, if the Titans want to keep Malik, do they have to keep him on the 53-man? Is there an exemption for the 3rd quarterback because of the new quarterback rule? Would he have to be released and brought back onto the practice squad? Well, then...
he has to be available.
It has to be available. So... then my question comes, and I was going to ask you guys this because you may know better than anybody.
I don't know.
Well, if we do get to the point where we release Malik because we have to, because he's not the 1 or 2, and we need the roster spot, who says that there's not a number 3 quarterback out there that Rand likes more?
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you see, I think that's where the crushes are coming in, is I'm thinking, all right, I'm thinking depth piece. Like that one game in November when Will Levis can't play because of some injury, and you've got Mason Rudolph out there, but Mason Rudolph gets hit, and he's got to go out, and you down to your 3rd quarterback because that can't happen. Who's that guy going to be? And I hate the fact that I liked Joe Milton last night. I hate the fact
that's where we were going with all of this.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my. It wasn't a Titan player. It was a New England Patriot player. Oh, my bad. A Tennessee player.
Like, because it doesn't matter if it's Tennessee, if it's Alabama, if it's Florida. Like, all states would love for their hometown players to come play for their hometown team. Like, we hear that. How many times during draft did we hear, last year, oh, man, if the Titans bring Juwan Jennings home, like if they can just bring him home, like those types of things. And I'm going, guys, you got to be smart about this. You've got to look at the talent. It's got to be about that. But Blaine?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
4
no.
for 6?
Joe looked really good. And we all know he has a lot of talent, especially, the Tennessee fans for sure. If he can put it all together. What'd you say, Reed?
I'm back in.
You back in on Joe Milton?
I'm back in.
Look, this is like the 5 stages of 5 phases of Milton that we talked about a few weeks ago. He was 4 of 6, 54 yards, had a beautiful touchdown pass, rushed for 22 yards. And dang it, I'm sitting there going, I know he's not the starter. I don't want him as the starter. But man, if he was at number 3, like I'm just sitting there just watching him play last night.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to cut him. And we just talking about one game now. He's going to play a little bit more, you would assume.
Yes.
Yeah, so, Zappy's definitely in trouble. Milton's going to be, I don't know if they're going to be able to cut him and bring him back on the practice squad. He's too talented. This is what happens when you get a 6th, 7th round. This is what they do. They go, something's missing. The guy has talent. And I'm not just talking about Milton. I'm just talking about overall when teams are looking at players in that last couple of rounds. They're saying, let's take a flyer on them because they didn't need a quarterback. They drafted one in the first round, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They say, but we like what we see. Maybe if we develop him on a 1 or 2 year project, and maybe he can potentially not only be a 2, but if somebody gets hurt, he can play because his arm talent is just off the charts. And that's what he looks like. His talents. I mean, how many quarterbacks up are doing backflips and throws it, 80 yards with the flick of a wrist? I mean,
ran for 75 yards to get 15 at one point in time last night.
So hopefully he puts it together in, stacking days, and everybody down there in New England actually had been talking about him all week and everything else. Acting as though he was competing to start. To be honest, this is where they were talking. They were so fascinated with his arm strength. It's no different than a skill guy, and you're fascinated with his speed. But there's more to every position than just one skill set. And having a bazooka arm doesn't make you a really good quarterback. So he's going to have to hone that in. And hopefully, he'll know when to put some touch on the ball, go through his progression reads, which I actually saw him do a couple times.
He did.
The little bit that I did see of him. And, and hopefully, man, this is just the beginning. Well, that'll be nice.
Well, and I think that even like with him, it is like, he's not going to be your number 1. You know that they're going to want Drake May to either be 1 or 2, depending on what they do with Jacoby. Mm-hmm. But then it's either him or Zappy. Like that's your number 3. But at the same time, in the Patriots situation, are they going to have to release him at that point? But if he shows out the way that he did last night. And yes, it was against the 3s and everything, but it's the whole thing of, like you talk, he made good decisions.
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, it's about, he made good decisions. And it was 3s versus 3. He's a 3. So, let's elevate him to the 2. See what he looks like there. I don't know. Maybe we put him behind a better offensive line. See what really happens there.
And during the broadcast, the McCourty twins were on the broadcast for New England last night, and they both of them said, I'm shocked he's just now getting in the game.
Right. Like, because they base it off of practice.
Yes.
They go, yeah.
I thought that he was going to play more than what he did. Like, it took until maybe, I think, 4 minutes to go in the third quarter before they put him in for the remainder of the game. Mm-hmm. And it was, Zappy, they thought that he would come in and Zappy wouldn't play as much.
Right. Well, here's what happens. Now, you got to put yourself in the coach's shoes. And this is why that happened. And I think it's because you already know, based off numbers, and that's what I've been telling you, about small. This is about numbers. You already going to cut. You've seen practice. The coaches know that they're going to have to cut Zappy, who's an experienced player, by the way, who's a backup in this league. So they go, we got to play him because now we want to increase his value. Maybe somebody likes him enough and they have an injury. They may even give you a conditional late round pick for him.
Right.
You just don't know. So you know where you're going with Milton. With Zappy, you also know that he's probably going out the door. What can we do to help him through this process and at the same time help Milton develop and not in a sense of urgency because he's the 3,
absolutely,
not the 2. So if he was the 2, then Zappy wouldn't have played. But now that he's a 3, he's really competing for that 3. You got to give Zappy a fair shot and put him out there because he's not as talented, and you're going a different direction. You didn't draft him.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk to Jim Wyatt about this because we'll see a lot of Malik Willis tomorrow night as well, and in the quarterback situation with the Titans. As we are closer now, we are almost within a full day before Titans kick off between the Titans, the 49ers, right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, this is Blaine Bishop, and I want to know if you have heard about peptides. Peptides are shaking up the fitness world, and they are naturally occurring aminos in our bodies. And as we age, they start to decline. And at some point, they may need to be supplemented. This is why our workouts can stop being productive at the gym. So maybe you feel like you've hit a wall or perhaps feel tired all the time. You may be struggling to stay awake when you get home in the evenings. If you have that thought that this is just a normal part of aging, it doesn't have to be that way. Peptides are proven to increase muscle and performance. burn fat, and help with recovery between workouts, and more. Peptides can even help with motivation and mental clarity. These are safe, naturally occurring aminos, not pharmaceuticals. A natural, holistic way to get your body back to peak performance. Plus, Edge Peptide Therapy has the most comprehensive blood panel around. So when you go to Edge, you will know exactly what is going on inside of your body and what it needs to do to get back to peak performance, just like I did. So feel better from the inside out. So go to edgepeptide.com. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com. Or you can just give them a call at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
As we continue 104.5, the Zone F&M Bank chat wide open. All you got to do to get in there is by going and watching Zone TV on YouTube, Facebook, X, as well as Twitch. And Landis says, I hate the fact that I liked Joe Milton last night. Joe, stop being a hater. No, I'm just trying to keep my powder dry.
Oh, no. No, you were giving him compliments.
I know, but see, what I'm trying to do is not get overly excited and fall in love with Joe Milton because it's Joe Milton. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wanting to be successful. Like, but I'm trying to not sit here and think, okay, so what happens if he were to get cut and Malik is gone? I mean, it's just so many questions.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I get it. And I appreciate that about you and Milton, because certain players grow at different rates, and he could actually get better, and it just took him longer for it to click in.
Yes.
Especially at quarterback.
Yes.
So sometimes like offensive linemen usually take long times too, just because it depends on the position and what's required. So here's the issue to me is that what's fair for all the players is, which some college coaches and high school, all they can do is remember the negative about a player. And then if you've been with them for 2 or 3 years, they can't get it out of their head. Instead of believing, everyone listen, believe what they see at this player this year at this time. And are they stacking it and doing it over and over again consistently? Also, because they get so jaded because they have this picture of a player and they can't get it out of their head because they remember what he looked like in the beginning. And that's unfair to the player because at some point, if it clicks, you got to give him his acknowledgement and say, hey, man, this guy's a different player than when he first got here.
Also, I think this is the first time I've ever seen you in a hat.
Oh, really? This hat is kind of big.
Yeah, as you're rocking a Keith Urban hat, it's Jim cool. Wyatt's always rocking a visor
he's always
practice.
rocking a visor. Yeah, he recommended I not wear a hat.
Yeah. Jim, have you ever seen Blaine in a hat?
I don't know if I have. What's describe the hat to me?
So it's a Keith Urban hat that we just got into the building. It's promoting his new album. I don't even know what it says on it because I just see something.
We're all messed up just like me.
Yeah, messed up just like you. But he's rocking a hat, Jim, and I've never seen this.
Care of Tyler Reese, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the only hat I think I've seen him on is a helmet. So,
yeah, thanks, Jimbo.
But so Jim, help us out here because
hey, old helmet head.
We were talking before you came on in the last break about the quarterback rule because obviously the Titans have to make a decision on quarterback with the third string. Other teams are making decisions when it comes to third string. If the Titans want to keep Malik Willis on the active roster, would that count towards the 53, or because it's the third quarterback in the new rule, does that go? Is that like an exempt number? How's that work?
No, it'll count on the 53, and I would expect that to happen. I mean, I think the Titans are keeping 3 quarterbacks, and I think Malik. I mean, again, they get. Brian Callahan has said that Mason Rudolph and Malik Willis are going to battle it out for the number 2. Based on what I've seen from Mason Rudolph, is he's going to be the 2. I mean, the guy's completing 85% of his passes. He's played in a lot of games before. He's been very sharp with really knowing the playbook and everything in camp. So, I mean, he's going to win the 2 job in my mind. And then I think Malik Willis has improved enough where it's just too dangerous to cut him loose and let somebody else sign him. So I would expect the team to keep 3. They'll all count on the 53, and I think Malik Willis will be able to continue to develop with the team this season and play in an emergency situation.
Well, and with Malik, I mean, I know you've gotten to talk to him. Like, how is he feeling in this new offense? Is there something that's just clicked? Like, how is he performing as well as he has so far in training camp?
Well, I just think it's another year for him to work in an NFL offense, work out of a huddle. It was so much different for him when he got into the league because his plays were getting called in from the line of scrimmage. He wasn't even in a huddle. He was taking all his shots and snap and in shotgun. And when he was picked, I think early on it was very clear to me the plan was for him not to be in a position to play until 2024. And here we are now in 2024, and we've seen improvement, and that's why people thought it would take a couple of years. He's still not in a position to be a starter, and he's competing for the number 2 spot now. You never know what's going to happen. Guys have got to stay healthy, but he's a much better quarterback than he was when he first got here. And I think Brian Callahan, and Nick Holtz and and really, Bo Hardigree, the new quarterbacks coach, I think all those guys have helped him take the next step in his development. And Malik's put in the work. I mean, give him credit for not pouting when let's say Rudolph came in here. He's continuing to work to try to make himself better.
As Jim Wyatt joins us here on 104.5 The Zone as we get ready for that kickoff of Titans and 49ers tomorrow night.
Well, Jim, take us through what you'll be looking for, because you're the best in the business of tracking not only practices, but, what happens in these preseason games. So what are one or two of the things that you'll be watching or looking for in this first preseason game?
Well, I'm really curious to see how things end up playing out on the offensive line. As you guys know, it was quite a shakeup this week when Sadiq Charles retires and then Dylan Radin steps in at that right guard spot. And I don't know if they consider him stepping in. They were always alternating Sadiq and Dylan with the ones. It's pretty even, but it was my feeling that Sadiq Charles was the favorite at that spot, and now he's out of the equation. Nicholas Petit-Friere's back in at right tackle, coming off PUP earlier this week. So just seeing those guys play together in a real game against different opponents for the first time is what I'm looking for. The whole offensive line, for that matter. You've got guys coming off the bench that are trying to earn roster spot. So O-line is one. It's gonna be cool to see the starters play. Some of them will play more than others, and again, not everybody's playing. Harold Landry's not going to play, and Jeffrey Simmons is not going to play, and Ryan Stonehouse is not playing. You're not going to see L'Jarius Sneed or Jamal Adams or Chidobe Awuzie. So I mean, while I say the starters are playing, a lot of them just won't, but it will be a good chance to see some of these frontliners at least get some action and build some chemistry with one another. And then I'm going to be watching for these receivers behind the big three, which I consider to be Hopkins and Ridley and Boyd, because it's been very competitive in practices with Nicholas Rakina to Cal Phillips to Mason Rudolph, even Jaquan Jackson. I'm anxious to see all those guys play and see how they do here in the preseason.
No doubt about it. We're on with Jim Wyatt from Tennessee Titans online. I guess, Jimbo, I heard the head coach talk a little bit about Jalen Harrell. I hadn't even paid attention to him that much at all, that he was having a really good camp considering that he was a rookie. What have you seen from him so far and expectations as far as this probably season or preseason?
Yeah, and I'm glad you steered it toward the defense, too, because in those early remarks, I think I went all offense and defense. I'm anxious to see how that goes, including seeing Big Tavondre Sweat in action for the first time. But Harrell, I have noticed him, and I thought it was interesting that the head coach gave him so many props yesterday. I do these practice reports, as you mentioned, Blaine. I kind of try to point out guys who have done well, and I know I put Harrell in there. If I've done 8 or 9 of those practice reports, I put him probably in half of them because he has been flashing. He's made plays. I wonder what's going to happen as we approach the start of the season, because it sounds like Arden Key is going to be facing a 6-game suspension based on the reporting that's out there and based on what has been said in response to that. So what the Titans have at that position? Do they need to get somebody else? You got Harold Landry, you got Rashad Weaver, a guy like Shane Reyes flash. But Jalen Harrell has been good, and it sounds like he's maybe been good enough to convince them that, hey, maybe this is a guy that can help us early. He's been good as a pass rusher. He's been good against the run. It's early. He's got to hold up. Now he's got to prove it against other teams that he'll be faced for the first time. But I think that's one of the more encouraging things in camp, is you've got a guy like that stepping up.
Well, I know that's kind of not your job, but we were talking about, camp crushes and just crushes in general on other teams and players. But give us one guy on offense, one guy on defense. They may not make the team, maybe on the practice squad or whatever, but you say, hey, man, this guy's giving all these guys, and he's definitely showed out enough to maybe potentially be, if not even on the Titans practice squad, but maybe on someone else's.
Well, the guy I was going to mention, and if you're talking about deep depth guys, maybe this guy doesn't count, but I love the way Jarvis Brownlee plays. I mean, he's making the ball. He's behind. He's not necessarily talked about as much as McCreary and Woozy and certainly Snead, but he's scrappy, fun to watch. You're probably looking for somebody who is further down the line, maybe, and looking at my list here of who I'm going to give a shout. I mean, Shane Ray. I mean, he's got to qualify.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who is a long shot because he wasn't on the roster when training camp started. He came in here on a workout this off season, and really he was part of the rookie tryout guys. He was, this guy was drafted in 2016, I think, and here he is for the rookie tryout during the rookie mini camp, and now here he is back, and he's flashed. So Shane Ray is somebody who I've noticed a lot, and easy guy to pull for because of his story. I think on the offensive side of the ball, Jaquan Jackson's a draft pick, but he does get my attention on a regular basis. I'll tell you who's somebody who's not talked about a lot, who has a chance to make this team, especially with Sadiq Charles leaving. That's Andrew Rupkich, a guy who nobody really talks about much, undrafted free agent that came in here, out of Culver, Stockton. Keep an eye on him during the preseason. Again, I think Radens is the favorite at right guard. I think Daniel Brunskill is going to get a look. He's a swing guy, but Rupkich is a guy who can make this team. And if he doesn't, I think somebody would claim him because he's going to get a chance to play a lot in the preseason. Big guy who's gotten a lot better. Start off as a tackle, worked a lot of guards lately, and has gotten better.
Cool. Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com.
You mentioned Arden Key just a second ago, and the fact that, he's most likely going to have to serve that 6-game suspension. I know you just mentioned Shane Ray. Are the Titans confident on the guys behind Arden Key, or is this something that you could see a move being made the closer we get to the regular season?
Yeah, I think that depends on whether Harrell can keep it up. I mean, I do think it's very encouraging that he's getting the props he's getting now, but he's got to continue to do it. Rashad Weaver, I like him. I think he's certainly a guy that you can count on, but they're still a little bit thin there and definitely unproven. Again, Ray hadn't played in a game since 2018. Jalen Harrell, has never played in an NFL game. Behind Key and Landry and Weaver, and you've got a bunch of guys. Caleb Murphy, very young. Has played some on special teams, but hadn't played a lot. The lead Duke, it's thin, and so I think depending on how these guys do over the next couple of weeks will determine whether or not they maybe are on the waiver wire when cuts are made. I think on August the 27th. I think that's when they get down to 53.
Well, and with the running back group, you've got 5 or 6 guys that honestly, all of them have potential at trying to make this roster. You got the kickoff return, and we're trying to figure out how the Titans are going to utilize that. What is the plan going into tomorrow night? Are they just going to use one guy, or are we going to see a bunch of guys back there with kickoffs?
I think you'll see a bunch of guys. They've worked on a bunch of combinations. There's not just been one guy back there. It's been 2 back there, and those guys have alternated. I've seen them go 10 deep with players, 5 different 2-person combos. And that's where somebody has a chance to really kind of give an extra something extra to think about when you're making decisions. I mean, right now in the depth chart, you got Tyjae Spears listed as a kickoff returner. You've got Mason Kinsey listed as the punt returner with Kearis Jackson and Kyle Phillips behind them. I'm curious to see whether somebody's able to have some success there in some of these early preseason games. That's been still, I'm not going to call it a nothing play, but there hasn't been an explosive play like I think the league hopes to see more of, and I'm curious to see whether somebody with the Titans can try to change that trend. But you mentioned the running backs, and that is a spot where, so much when you get down to roster cuts and whether certain guys make it at other positions depends on how heavy you go at other positions. And, I see Tony Pollard, and I see Tyjae Spears, and I see Hassan Haskins, who I think is making it because he's a good special teams player, and I think he's gotten better. But then the 2 backs behind him, I think Chestnut has shown the last couple of years he's kind of scrappy guy who can help. And I really like Jabari Small. I think he's going to be a guy somebody talks about. I think he could be a guy a lot of people are talking about in the preseason because you can get a chance to play. And if practice is any indication, I think he's going to play well. So I think you may go heavy there, which is going to impact the position.
Well, and with Stonehouse not playing tomorrow, I know that everybody said, he's working well in practice and he's getting close and everything, but he's also holder. So when it comes to field goals, who's going to be holding for Folk if Stonehouse is going to be out?
That's a good question. I guess I probably should have paid attention. I mean, they've been working on it in practice, and Stonehouse has been he's been working in all that stuff. I guess I should have been paying closer attention who's holding behind Stonehouse. That's probably usually during some of those special teams periods when I'm tweeting out my videos. But I think Stonehouse, I think he's going to be ready, and I think they're just trying not to give him too much too soon. All of this was going to be a process for him because it's been so long since he's been out there. He's looked strong in practice. I think his confidence has grown. He's been able to face the rush in practices, but I think they're just trying to incorporate him in at a slow pace to make sure he's ready. But he'll be the holder, and now that I think about it further, Ty Zettner is going to be who is Stonehouse's backup. Okay. He's going to be the punter, and he's going to be the holder. I've seen him do it. I don't know if there's anybody else behind him, but that's the question: is who's the backup behind Stonehouse when you get to 53? It's Zettner for now, but I guess I need to know who's deep on. Well,
no, and the only reason I ask is because I just remember in the past how many kickers have talked about how important it is to have that chemistry. And most of the time it's, a lot of this comes down to, obviously, the Titans' former punter who was amazing at holding when it came to kick. So I was like, look, when you've lost the games the Titans have, especially by a field goal, we pay attention to this stuff now. So that's the only reason I was asking.
Yeah, and Tannehill was that guy, when he was around last year too. So I imagine, when you get down to 53, it'll be Stonehouse and one of the quarterbacks.
All right. Well, look, Jimmy, we appreciate it. I've been shooting out a ton of videos that are absolutely amazing. Your interviews that you've been doing off the field as well after practice have been fantastic. And we just appreciate you hopping on as we're getting closer to kickoff tomorrow night.
I appreciate it. I'm looking for a game start. We've only got a couple of weeks left of training camp. Those practice observations, probably 2 weeks left of them, because once practice starts, once we're in regular season mode, you're not going to be able to get charted info on practice like now. So we got to enjoy it. I'll certainly be enjoying tomorrow night. So I'll look forward to seeing you guys there. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, anytime. Thank you, sir. Have a great night, or have a great day, I should say. But yeah, Brett Kern was so good at holding when it came for Titans kickers. Mm-hmm. Like, they just talked about how fantastic he's been. So now we don't ever think about the holder until one goes wide left or right.
Great question. It's very vital, to the players. I mean, maybe from a fan perspective, but timing and everything else is just like every other position. Work with those guys on the side and getting holds and, trying to put it the way the kicker likes it. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it's very detail-oriented. It does make a difference.
All right, detail-oriented is what we need next, because it's going to be time for you to call your shot. As Blaine, myself, Reed, we're all going to do the exact same, as we're brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Call your shot is next, 615-737-1045.
Hey, Tennessee, summer's in full swing, and Cool Ray's here to make sure your home is ready for all the fun and the sun. We've got some sizzling deals that will keep you comfortable and worry-free all season long. So ensure your family stays hydrated and healthy with free water quality testing, because nothing beats a refreshing drink of pure water on a hot summer day. And Cool Ray also offers a $149 main sewer line camera inspection. And right now, they also offer 15% off whole home dehumidifiers, as well as $500 off whole home generators. So let Cool Ray take care of your home so you can focus on making family memories. So call us today and take advantage of those scorching hot deals. Cool Ray, your trusted partner for a cool and comfortable Tennessee summer. So visit coolray.com or just give us a call today at 615-570-0900. Cool Ray, keeping Tennessee cool, plumbing right, and lights bright.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
You ever wonder why so many pro athletes go and use stem cell therapy? Because it works. I'm Ron Slade, retired 14-year pro basketball player, and I needed to get this done. After I went through my entire career riddled with injuries, I needed therapy, so I went to Kellum Stem Cell Institute out in Franklin. Why? Because they're the stem cell specialists. They can be yours too. They're the stem cell specialists of the Tennessee Titans. You know why? Because it works.
Make an appointment today with Kellum Stem Cell Institute.
All right, it's time to call your shot. 615-737-1045. Reed, you said you have one. Blaine, do you got one? You're good to go?
Yeah, but we always, we always let the youngster go first, man.
Reed, before you go, I'll let you know, we do have a prize for the best called shot today. It is.
And we are not eligible, by the way.
We're not eligible, although, trust me, you're going to want to be because this would be really, really cool. It is a night stay at Bally's Evansville Casino and Hotel. In Evansville, Indiana. So there's also
Is Buck part of that package since he's from there?
No. We want people to enjoy their time.
Plus a dinner for two.
Yes.
Oh, my.
There is a dinner that is also included in this for two that you can go to. So you have like a nice little weekend getaway that you can have where you're going to have a dinner for two at the Bally Bet Sportsbook and Bar. So, guys, you can still make your bets, and you can also have a nice little night on 104.5 by simply just going to and giving us a call at 615-737-1045 to call your shot. Now, I keep up with the shots. So, Reed, let me ask you, because you're the only one that has actually come and gone. Who won the Olympic gold medal in golf?
Scotty Scheffler. He came back and won, so that is a loss. That's who I thought about doing, but I went with someone who was tied for the lead.
Yes, because you had Xander Schauffele winning the gold medal, and it was not him. So his shots won. Blaine's from last week was at Will Levis. We'll finish with in the 80s on Madden rankings. God, please, I hope so. I really hope so.
Is that what I said?
And you also said, you also said that the swim team will win the gold overall as well, which I have not kept track of. So I'll
one for one.
Yep, 1 for 1. So, and mine from last week was Justin Fields will start more games than Russell Wilson, which preseason games don't count, but hey. And Tim was our winner from last week, who said that the Titans will have a top 4 defense in the NFL by the end of the season.
That was big time there.
Top 4
that's tough
defense.
There, man.
So, as we get some callers on hold, Reed, you're going to be the one that starts us off today with calling your shot. You are not eligible to win the night stay at Bally in Evansville, but you're up first.
Jabari Small will have a touchdown on Saturday.
UT love. The love for UT alum.
Oh. Now, wait, hold on. Now, I want to answer. Like, why? Do you think it's because of the amount of reps? Do you think he's going to bust one?
No, because all the other UT players balled out on other teams.
Yes. But also, I think he gets a lot of snaps.
Rookie. Mm-hmm.
Because they need to look at him, and if he's doing as well as he is in practice, I think he's got a good shot of rushing. Or I could double down and go rushing. But I'm just going to say he scores a touchdown.
It's okay. Because here's what's going to happen. If he scores a touchdown on Saturday night, we're going to have so many Vols fans.
No, the whole stadium is going to go like Reed said so.
Absolutely. So we're going to have all of these Vols fans that are going to go crazy on Monday saying, give me Jabari Small. You put him in the backfield. You got Pollard back there. You got Tajay back there. You put Small back there. Boom. We got ourselves an electric. I promise you. Somebody will make that call on Saturday. Or on Monday after Saturday's game. All right. What is yours, Blaine? What is your shot that you were calling for this week?
This may seem lame to most, but it's Olympics.
Okay.
And I am a little perturbed of our not dominance at the Olympics. And what I'm getting at is I think we're only up on the gold medals by 2. Maybe that's changed by now.
I will get you an update.
It was tied up by 2, and I'm like, man, we should have more. Overall,
it's actually worse now. It's as in China is actually leading.
They have more gold medals than we do. Now we have more medals overall. I think we are by 25 or whatever it is, but it's a little too close. I think we need to start paying attention to all the other Olympic sports as well. And not just the main ones as far as we are from the United States. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed. They better win the most golds.
Well, now, so to your point, yes, Team USA has 28 more medals than the second place team, which is China, with 77. And as of this very second, because they are live right now in Paris, China has 32 gold medals. USA has 31.
Man.
So 32-31 as of this very second. Now, you've got, I don't want to say 2 guaranteed gold medals, but women's basketball just advanced to the finals after beating Australia earlier today. Team USA men's basketball advanced after a massive comeback, which was amazing to watch yesterday afternoon. So those are 2 potential gold medals that Team USA could win over that. So there you go.
I have one more, and it's kind of, more personal, kind of like Reed, because he's, UT guy. He's cheering for the UT player in preseason. But my former teammate at Ball State, Mark Paris, his son, who he won the Big Ten title in the weight class of heavyweights, his son is participating in the Olympics, Mason Paris. And I'm expecting he's going to win gold there for the wrestling.
Oh, what weight class?
I think it's heavyweight or right before that, one of the two.
Is it bad that I'm sitting here going, wait a second, what was your first call shot?
His dad was a great player. He tore his ACL his senior year. He would have been an NFL player. Mark Paris played with me at Ball State. We were captains together. But, his son has been dominant in the Big Ten, and Big Ten's wrestling is off the charts, and he won that.
Okay. All right. So we got to go to break. When we come back, we've got people on hold. We're going to start getting to your shots as you have the opportunity to win a night stay at Bally Evansville Casino Hotel up in, obviously, Evansville, Indiana. There's a night stay that is also included with this at the Bally Bet Sportsbook and Bar. So call in right now, 615-737-1045. We have one line open that you can get in on. As when we come back, call your shot. I'll call mine as well, as this is brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Second hour, final hour, best hour on 104.5 The Zone as kickoff for tomorrow night's Titans game, 6 p.m. as you'll be able to listen to it right here on 104.5 The Zone. You can also listen to Countdown to Kickoff with our own Blaine Bishop, as well as Buck Rising, Kayla Anderson, and Brad Hopkins, starting at 3 o'clock, which they're going to be broadcasting down from Nissan Stadium as we are getting ready for the countdown or for the game with the Titans. Now, it is our giveaway that we're doing today for a one-night stay for two at Bally's Evansville and Casino Hotel, which also is including a dinner for two at Bally Bet Sportsbook and Bar, is for Call Your Shot. So get in on the phone line, 615-737-1045, and the best called shot will win the tickets. Once you give your shot, you want to stay on hold because we got to figure out who our winner is going to be, and then Reed is going to help us select the winner a little bit. I still have to give up my shot, which for me, and Blaine, let me know if this is too vague or if I can add to it, because I can add to it.
Reed will be our judge here.
So if we're talking about, if we're purely just going, not obviously you went with the Olympics, but if we're talking about Saturday night's game, within the first 3 plays on offense, Will Levis is going deep to Ridley. I think.
That's
3 plays.
That's a good shot.
Is that a good one?
Yeah,
okay, because I mean, if I need to add that for a touchdown, then I will. But I'm just saying, I think that in the first 3 plays, Levis is going deep.
I love that.
I mean, it's just thinking.
You get to watch the first 3 plays and then turn it off if you wanted to.
No, I can't watch the first 3 plays and turn it off because I'll be in Titans radio listening to everything. With Mike Keith, I'll throw my hands up in the air like there's a touchdown when Keith talks about Levis going deep to Ridley. That's what I will do.
You'll immediately pull out your phone and tweet it.
I absolutely.
Does it have to be completed, or is it just an attempt?
No, it's just an attempt.
Just an attempt. Okay.
Just an attempt.
Okay.
Oh no, we got to get
completion. Okay,
yeah, completion.
There we go. Completion.
Well, I'm assuming it'll be a touchdown, but okay, I'll at least give you the completion on a deep ball.
Okay, there we go. Will Levis. I'm writing this down as I'm saying. Will Levis will complete a deep ball to Ridley within the first 3 plays.
You know the odds are against you, right?
1,000%.
How many yards is a deep ball? What's our?
Well, according to the stat we had yesterday, it's over 20 yards.
Oh no! It's got to be over 35.
Okay, 35. Okay. All right, so I'll put over 35 in in parentheses so that we know what we're talking about. So it has to be over 35.
I love how we
crunked on that.
Dude, I'm gonna get so excited. If I could flip a table, I might. If this actually happens,
I love how we said that was good enough, and then we made you keep adding to it.
It's got to be. Look, the first 3 plays of offense, because I don't want anybody going, well, Titans kicked the ball off, so it wasn't within the first 3 plays. No, first 3 plays that Will Levis is on the field.
Specific. The first 3 plays.
First 3 plays on offense. Okay. All right, let's start getting to it. Let's head out to Fairview.
Call your shot.
Call your shot. So we're spinning a wheel?
Juwan Jennings will catch a touchdown from Josh Dobbs.
Oh, the Tennessee connection.
Oh, they may not be out there at the same time, though.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Stay on hold, Adam. We'll stay on that one.
That would have been a good one. I don't know.
Reed, I hope
he's
you're
running third team. What team is Dobbs running?
Dobbs will be third team right now. Yeah, Dobbs is running third team. Matter of fact, we'll talk to.
I'll check the depth chart.
Yeah, Matt Maiocco is going to be coming on with us from NBC Sports coming up next segment, and we'll talk to him and see where Dobbs is and if there's a chance that Adams could be right. Let's head to Gallatin. Phil, what's your shot?
How you doing today? My shot is a pledge and a shot, and y'all are my witnesses. Starting this Titan game, Blaine, Joe, y'all listen to me. I will not drink any more, and I will not drink any less. There it is. There it is. That's mine. Go Titans. Woo!
So basically, he's just doing what he
wants to stay consistent.
He was doing what before he called.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing.
Same thing. Just
okay, I'm just making sure I didn't get lost somewhere.
No. He's saying I'm not going to get too excited and start drinking more. I'm not going to get depressed and drink less. Wait, that would drink more. I would just not drink less and I would not drink more. We're staying consistent. Okay, we're staying consistent.
Hold on. Where's Dobbs on the depth chart?
Going back to Adam's shot, they have Dobbs and Brandon Allen listed as 2.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where they put it. And then Juwan Jennings is listed as 2 behind Debo.
Right, which means he'll be running with the ones Debo probably won't play very much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's stay in Nashville. Parker, what's your
really
shot?
Third wide. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I haven't ever called the shot before, but once we had this gambling thing, my degenerate self had to give a call. And this is another gambling line. I believe with the Olympics, the France home cooking has been alive. The France basketball team had a lot of fouls go their way yesterday. I think the fouls go their way tomorrow. I think that France upsets USA tomorrow in the Olympic Games. Wemby comes across as the new face of the NBA, beating LeBron, beating Steph, winning the gold. They take it all with a little bit of controversy, but we can't prove it otherwise, and they take the gold. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, Parker, you definitely need to stay on hold.
Yesterday after they won and came back, and I was like, oh, they're playing France. Oh, France. Oh, they're going to get some of the calls.
Okay.
Oh, man, if that happens, I will be livid.
If you're watching on Zone TV, which you can do, go by YouTube, Facebook, X, or Twitch, my hand is right there. The bar has now been set. Okay, Parker is the leader in the clubhouse with his shot.
Nice shot. Well, we got some here on the chat here.
We've got some on the chat.
Devontae Sweat winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep. OG says T Sweat has 2 sacks and 1 tackle for loss. All right, let's go out to Spring Hill. Chris, what's your shot?
Hey, what's going on? I too am a degenerate, so I had to get in on this as well. But mine's more of a season-long call my shot. I'm with you, Hunk. I think Chig fumbles the tight end 1 position away to Wiley. I think Wiley's got a higher floor. I think he's just a better overall tight end than Chig, and he's more well-rounded. I just think he finishes the year as a more established weapon for Levis, and I just think he fits the mold a little better. That confidence is real high right now. I don't know if y'all seen his video.
It is.
Yeah. I saw that one-handed touchdown catch.
And Chris, I'll tell you, I don't want to be right. Let me just say that. I don't want Chig to fumble the job away. I want Chig to be like the next Travis Kelce. Like, I want that. It's just annoying the crap out of me that he keeps fumbling and it continues to happen right in front of me. It's just annoying.
With you, man.
All right, Chris, stay on hold, bud. Stay on hold. Let's go to Springfield. Josh, what's your shot, man?
Our shot is that midway through the NCAA season, Nico will be in Heisman contention.
Ooh, that's a big one.
That's a solid one, Josh. All right, stay on hold. Stay on hold.
Halfway through the season? Oh, that means they are going to be lit.
That means that he has gone off against NC State, against Oklahoma. The Oklahoma game is what could put him in that.
Yeah.
The Oklahoma, if he goes off in Norman.
In Oklahoma.
Okay. Wendell, let's stay in Nashville. Wendell, what's your shot?
Mine's a little bit along the other guys, but I'm going in the opposite direction because there's 2 things that hold true in life, and that's me being a Patriot and me being a Titans fan for life. So I'm going to throw a little caveat in there. USA is going to blow out France by 20 points. Jason Tatum's going to come off the bench scoring at least 15. And my second one is going to be the combination of Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, run TNT. They're both going to get 1,250 yards from scrimmage each this season. Tighten up. Let's go.
Whoa, Wendell.
Man.
Wendell.
He jump off the top turnbuckle with that.
1,200 yards. He said 1,200 yards each, right?
Yeah, a piece.
2,400 yards of offense going through those 2. Okay. All right. Tim from the Borough. What's your shot, bro?
What's up, man? We are fixing to have a non-quarterback Heisman Trophy winner for the 2024 season since Charles Woodson, and it is James Pierce Jr. Go Vols.
Oh, Tim. Okay.
The pass rusher.
So between, and again, so far between the 3, Parker calling the upset of Team USA basketball because of France getting home cooking. Wendell with the run TNT, which, by the way, Wendell, letting you know that is very popular on the F&M Bank chat right now, that they like what they're hearing when you said that. And then Tim in the Borough saying James Pierce is going to win the Heisman Trophy. Okay, this may take a second to think about. We may have to, do we have the discussion
Has
live?
a pass rusher ever won?
I don't think so. Ndamukong Suh came in second.
He came in second. He did not win.
He's never won.
He was the most dominant player that year, too, by far.
Yeah, Woodson has been the only defensive player to win.
And the only reason he won is because he also returned kicks and he did offense and all that other stuff.
And Peyton Manning was robbed.
There's an entire documentary on Peyton Manning involved in that as well. Okay. Like, I started looking this up because, look, if you'd go with, and I think it was Wendell saying 1,200 yards each, just going with rushing yards last year, the NFL's leading rusher was Christian McCaffrey with 1,459 yards rushing. That was the only player that was over 1,200 yards rushing last year. Rushing. If you're talking two guys over 1,200 yards of total offense between receiving and rushing.
Yeah, that's a tough one there.
Yeah,
those two there. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen.
We're gonna go to break because we've got to. Matt Maiocco is going to be joining us here in just a little bit to talk about the 49ers as they get ready to fly across the country and take on the Titans tomorrow night. You guys stay on hold. We'll have a discussion during the break, figuring out who had the best called shot. As he is the hitman Blaine Bishop. I am Joe Hunk. Brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
You ever wonder why so many pro athletes go and use stem cell therapy? Because it works. I'm Ron Slade, retired 14-year pro basketball player, and I needed to get this done. After I went through my entire career riddled with injuries, I needed therapy, so I went to Kellum Stem Cell Institute out in Franklin. Why? Because they're the stem cell specialists. They can be yours too. They're the stem cell specialists of the Tennessee Titans. You know why? Because it works.
Make an appointment today with Kellum Stem Cell Institute.
All right, the F&M Bank chat is going crazy as you can hop in and watch on Zone TV. And we are trying to get a hold of Matt Maiocco as we speak right now so that he can talk about the 49ers. But if you do want to hop in and get in on the F&M Bank chat simply by watching Zone TV, go to YouTube, Facebook, X, as well as Twitch. And just had a question from Ricky about how Joe Milton did last night. He says, I'll be interested if he ends up being a better pro than Hendon Hooker, which both quarterbacks did play last night. But Joe Milton ended that game with the Patriots 4 of 6, 54 yards passing, had a touchdown pass, as well as 5 rushes for 22 yards, and was probably the standout player of that game between the Patriots and the Panthers.
Yeah, that is a possibility, though.
It is a possibility.
I'm going to say this. I keep saying that he was the more talented player. Doesn't mean he's the better player. With him and Hooker, and that's how it was in college. Now, you don't know what happens once you get in the pro. The best of the best kind of rise to that occasion, and he definitely can continue to grow. But we shall see. I still want to say Hooker's going to be a little bit better, but we'll find out.
And it's still going to take time with Hooker just because he's still coming back from the injury. Like it's not like he may be 100% physically, but then there's the mental side of it. How many players, that you've played with that came back from the ACL injury and said, I was nervous until that first hit. Or I was nervous
especially
until,
but quarterback, he runs around a little bit. So, he ran around and got a little dinged up on, a little concussion there. So he seems like he's running around. He's healthy. Reason why I would lean towards Hooker a little bit, not just based off what he did at Tennessee, but really more so on his challenges. His challenge, we saw the guy, Sofield or whatever his name was. He's been in the league about 7 years, a backup from IU quarterback. That he definitely should be the number 2 already. And I think Milton's going to have to fight, to beat out a first rounder this year, which that probably won't happen. They want to show that, support the young guy, and he won't even start either. So he's starting already at 3, and Hooker will be at 2. Now, Golf is the starter and bona fide guy with a big contract, so ultimately it's going to get to that. So Hooker's going to have to be able to get in the game, whether through injury or not, showcase his talent, and then they trade him or he goes signs with another team. So, I don't know. We shall see. It's going to come down to the wire.
It absolutely will. Also, we want to congratulate our winner for our Call Your Shot, and that is congratulations to Parker, who just won a one-night stay for 2 at Bally's Evansville Hotel and Casino. That's also going to be coming with a dinner for 2 at Bally Bet Sportsbook and Bar. And somebody with a fantastic idea on the F&M Bank chat is this is a win that Parker can turn around and use to stay, as he may be wanting to go to the Titans-Colts game in Indianapolis. And he can stay in Evansville and then drive over to Indy for the game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So that is definitely a way that he could do that. So congratulations to Parker. Thank you to everybody that is not only throwing in their shots on the F&M Bank chat, but also on the phone lines, as in our phone lines were slammed for about 20 minutes as we were trying to get everybody in and see what their shot could potentially be. So we're going to do that again next Friday at 1:45. So make sure that you continue to listen there as we are continuing to talk about that, as well as what is going on with the Olympics as well. But dang, I was just thinking about, and Wendell's was a good one, 2,400 yards total offense. Has there ever been a tandem that has had that many or even close to that many yards of offense that you can remember through your time in the NFL, or even as you've been on 104.5, to have over 2,000 yards of total offense between the 2 running backs in the NFL? Like, I'm trying to think of, now college is one thing because of the way the ball is distributed, the amount of plays that are going, but as far as 2 players that are going about this the way that they do, like, man, I don't know.
No, I definitely don't remember that. Back, my day was more about if you had 2 running backs go for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen that before, but that was kind of a big number, a big deal back then. Man, I don't remember.
No, and that's one from that I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm going to have to research this, because that to me would automatically make this like a legendary type thing if that was to happen between those two players.
I'm sure it's happened, though.
Yeah, like that's where I'm okay. Like I'm wanting to look up like running back tandems and the best tandems in the NFL and that sort of thing. So it was something that we were sitting here going, okay, I don't know if this is something that was going to be able to have a long-term thing of them being able to
San Francisco had two running backs that did it one year. And I want to say it was back in the day, like Roger Craig and somebody, I can't remember. Ricky Waters, I don't know. No, Ricky Waters wasn't with them. So it's happened, but not very often.
No, because
when you got to equal out the carries and pass receptions, and mostly it's always about one guy. And now that's kind of changed, depending on who you have as a running back and your scheme and system. But I wouldn't be shocked if we saw one with 1,200, one with 800.
Oh, see, that was, and that's.
I wouldn't. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't be, afraid to say that could possibly happen.
Yeah, because I'm looking right now, and I found a tandem of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs last season.
Oh,
and David Montgomery finished the season with a little over 1,000 yards rushing at 1,015, and Gibbs finished the season with 945 total yards. So it's a close tandem, but are we thinking that you could see this between Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, where this was going to be a tandem that could be the number one tandem in the NFL? Because you're talking Montgomery and Gibbs, which got the Lions to the NFC Championship game. You also had Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, which they equaled for a total of 1,800 yards of offense. And then you can look at your Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. But 2,400 yards of total offense just between the two. You're starting to talk about, if that were to happen, the Dolphins made it through a couple of rounds of the playoffs before they lost to the Chiefs. The Lions made it to the NFC Championship game. Something like that would have to take place. Now, Wendell hopped on on our chat after calling in with his shot, saying that Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon could be a tandem with the Packers that you could think of.
Oh, okay. Well, they have Jacobs now, and okay. Dang, I forgot. Green Bay has Jacobs from the Raiders. Wow.
Yeah. Now those are your question marks with that.
Possibility.
No, it absolutely is. And then the whole Nico conversation. Okay, so let's look at that shot, because now I'm sitting here thinking about the Nico one. What would have to happen for Nico to actually get into Heisman conversation here?
Well, he has to have big numbers, which is a possibility, but also they got to have wins over, I think you said, Oklahoma, NC State, and it got to be somewhat convincing. Like they beat them, they kind of dominate, and they win by 17, or more.
So right now, if you're talking about the midway point of the season, which let's say the Alabama game is going to be the game 7, so it would be between the Florida game that's going to be happening on October 12th and the Bama game that'll be on October 19th. Now, let's be honest. If Nico was on the line going into the Bama game, anything he did in the Bama game would get him over as far as getting into the conversation about the Heisman. I mean, it's just one of those games. Mm-hmm. But before you get there, the Oklahoma game will probably be the biggest nationally televised game that people would be talking about. I mean, I would assume. So let's think about that as we'll continue to look into it and try to figure out if and what game could potentially get Nico into that conversation. But a conversation that we need to have right now is also with Matt Maiocco, as he is joining us from the 49ers Talk podcast, as well as NBC Sports Bay Area. And Matt, as the 49ers are getting ready to come over to Nashville to take on the Titans, one thing that we talked about, we had somebody call in and ask this question. Is it possible that Josh Dobbs could throw a touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings? It's just a question, man. We're in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I would say probably not, because Juwan is like a frontline player now for the 49ers. And I don't know how many of those guys are going to be playing in the game tomorrow night. So I would guess if Juwan plays, it's going to be a cameo. He's not going to play a whole lot. This game is probably going to be mostly for the guys who are, the young guys who maybe the rookies who have their spots on the team, and a lot of the guys, younger guys who are battling for spots. So I don't know how much Juwan you'll see tomorrow night.
Well, and I was curious about if you're making your way over to Nashville and if you're going to be in town for the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's here.
Yes, I'm already here.
Okay.
I'm already here.
Perfect.
And I can tell you the 49ers, I think right now are packing up and they're heading to the airport. So they'll be here before the end of the night. But, yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan hasn't laid out exactly what his plan is as far as guys playing tomorrow night. But there will be a lot of Josh Dobbs, no doubt about it. Josh Dobbs is battling for the number 2 job with Brandon Allen behind Brock Purdy. So I don't expect Purdy to play. Nashville resident, and I think I'm about a block right now from where George Kittle lives. I don't think he's going to play. Well, I know he's not going to play. So a lot of the guys, the recognizable names that from the 49ers will take the night off tomorrow.
Well, let me ask, before you left, were you able to lay eyes on Brandon Ayuk? Is he going to be on the plane and at least on the sidelines?
I would say there's no chance that Brandon Ayuk will be stepping on that plane. He remains with the team. He remains a daily, he when they take attendance, he's there every day. He's sitting in on meetings, but the last 2 practices, I wrote the story Monday night about, 49ers basically already having the framework of trades to deal him, but now it's, there's so many moving parts with this Brandon Ayuk thing, and at some point, if the longer this goes, it's not certainly out of the realm of possibility that Brandon Ayuk could remain with the 49ers, but he has not stepped on the field. He's a hold-in, but he remains coming to the facility, but no, I don't think there's any chance that he'll be traveling with the team.
Matt Maiocco joins us from the NBC Sports Bay Area as well as the 49ers Talk podcast.
Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. First and foremost, on the Ayuk deal, can a team actually, in a hold-in, tell a player to actually go home?
Well, that's a great question, and here's what I thought. So Monday night, I had a very detailed look at what's going on with the Brandon Ayuk situation, including the news that the 49ers have trades in place with the Browns and with the Patriots. Now, since then, the Patriots have said, we don't think he wants to come here.
Right.
He hasn't reached out to us. We haven't talked to him. So let's just move on. My thought was it's at the point now where it is quite possible that this is becoming a distraction. In fact, you'd probably say that there's no doubt it's becoming a distraction. So what I thought was Tuesday morning, is there a possibility that the 49ers say, hey, Brandon, let's do this. You can't seem to kind of figure out what you want exactly. So why don't you just kind of stay away? There's to determine what do you want out of this? Do you want to go the Browns? The 49ers at that point had ended talks with the Steelers, but now they're talking again. And Brandon Ayuk has, he stated in the offseason, if he doesn't return to the 49ers, his preferred locations were Washington or Pittsburgh. Well, Washington never really showed a great interest in giving up the draft capital and potentially a player that it would take to get Brandon Ayuk and then give him the big contract. And the Steelers haven't come in at the asking price that the 49ers feel like they need in a trade. So the answer back to me was, well, if the 49ers told him to stay away, there goes all their leverage. Because now, the Steelers can say, no, what we offered you, that's all you're getting, because now that bridge has basically been burned. There's no turning around and going back. We know you're not going to keep Ayuk. You told him to stay away from the facility and not even take part in meetings. So there would go the 49ers leverage in any trade. So it's a fascinating saga that is multi-layered. And, who has the leverage in this? Well, you could say the 49ers have the leverage because they have to agree to a trade in order for Brandon Ayuk to find a new home. Others could say, well, Brandon Ayuk has the leverage because he has to agree to a contract with a new team in order for the 49ers to deal him and get the kind of compensation, whether it's players or draft picks, that they want in return. So it's going to take, 3 teams kind of working together to find a solution. And if there's no solution with those 3 teams, then it turns into, can Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers kind of resolve their differences, mend the fences, and see if Ayuk remains with the 49ers for the 2024 season.
No doubt. Now, where are we with? We're on with Matt Maiocco, NBC Sports, with Trent Williams. I haven't heard much talk about him. Is he at camp or is he?
No, he's not. So Ayuk is a hold in. Trent Williams is a holdout. So he's accruing $50,000 a day in fines.
A day?
A day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The 49ers have their 13th practice yesterday. So that's quick math. That's $650,000. And then if you're under contract, like he is, he gets fined a game check, a regular season game check for missing a preseason game. I think this one hasn't gotten as much attention as the Ayuk one, but it's every bit as messy because when Trent Williams signed his current deal with the 49ers, he was the number 1 highest paid offensive lineman in the league. Now, after 2 more all-pro seasons, he's the 6th highest paid. So how important is it for him to bump his salary up, his average per year up from, say, $23 million to $28 million that Penei Sewell is making? I don't know. He has 0 guaranteed money left on that deal. So I'm sure the 49ers are looking at what happened with Matthew Stafford and the Rams, what happened with Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins, where basically those deals were done without a whole lot of drama. And those deals were basically converting non-guaranteed money into guaranteed money. Now, is that going to be enough to get something done with Trent Williams? I don't know. The vibes around the 49ers are very interesting with, a lot more stuff happening off the field than what's happening on the field.
One more question for me, and that is the Super Bowl window for the 49ers closing? And is Kyle Shanahan and Crew Lynch all feeling the pressure from that?
Well, I don't think they're under pressure because, I think you ask anybody around the league, name your top, 3 or 5 general managers or name your top 3 or 5 head coaches. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are probably going to end up on all those lists. I mean, the 49ers, I think, universally are known to have one of the better rosters in the entire NFL. Yep. And I would say that, when you talk about coaches and offenses, Kyle Shanahan would be at the top of the list. I mean, there's Andy Reid and then there's everybody else. And I think probably Kyle Shanahan leads the list of everybody else. So I don't think there's that pressure at all. Management, I mean, they work very well together. The vibes inside the building, and you guys know, I mean, you can walk into a building, and trust me, through many years covering the 49ers, I've walked into that building, and the vibes are just, could be horrendous. And you just know that stuff has to happen. The vibes and the locker room have been very good with the 49ers for a number of years. Now, the window, as long as you have a quarterback playing at a high level, your window is always going to remain open. I mean, it's simple as that. So, will there be attrition? Will there be moves made every season where some big-time names are no longer on the team? Absolutely. There will be a time that George Kittle isn't on the 49ers. There will be a time where Deebo Samuel isn't on the 49ers, or Trent Williams, or Nick Bosa. But I don't think they're going to do that all at once. So I'm not sure I buy into the window thing, because if Brock Purdy plays at the level that he played last season, which was, 4th in the voting for NFL MVP, 49ers, I mean, that window is going to stay open for a long time. As long as they make the right moves to replace the guys they're losing with good players as well.
As we're joined right now by Matt Maiocco of the 49ers Talk podcast, as well as NBC Sports Bay Area. We were joking at the very beginning of this about Juwan Jennings and Dobbs playing because we're in the state of Tennessee, but you also have another Nashville native that's going to be playing in the game tomorrow night. And Jordan Mason, he's been with you guys for a couple of seasons. For a lot of people here that are paying attention to the Gallatin native, is there any updates you can give on how his training camp's been going so far?
Oh, I think he's been really good. Yeah, he came in, I was kind of under the impression or kind of felt like he would be in the same role that he's been, basically the number 3 running back behind Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell. But he has just been so reliable, and he bought a Jugs gun, or not a Jugs gun, but the Jugs machine.
Yeah.
In the off season, and really worked on his hands, and he's really worked on his route running, and that's a big thing for the 49ers, to be able to stay on the field for all 3 downs. He's got the running ability. You guys all know that. But the route running, the pass catching, the blitz pickup, all those things that keep you around and keep you on the field, he's really, really honed in on that as well. So the idea this season is for the 49ers don't want to just ride Christian McCaffrey into the ground, kind of like they did last year. Now that he's on a deal, they gave him an extension. I think they kind of see the long game a little bit. Giving McCaffrey breaks during the course of a game, during the course of the season, just so that he's fresh and ready for the big games in December and January, and maybe even they get back to February. Who knows? But Jordan Mason has been one of the true bright spots for the 49ers this offseason, this training camp, because Mitchell, as good as he is, he just can't stay healthy. He just can't stay on the field. And Mason has just done everything asked of him, and he's been super reliable. So I don't know how much he's going to play tomorrow night, because I think he's that valuable to the team.
Wow. Before we let you go, because I know we need to, but is it you honking? Who's been honking at you for like the last...
You know what?
You just landed at the airport, so where are you?
I'm in the Gulch.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pacing outside of. Should I give an advertising here to the establishment I'm outside of?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm right in front of Milk and Honey. I'm just like pacing.
Oh, okay,
back
you're
and
not
forth.
too far from. You can actually walk to our studio.
Yeah,
it probably takes you, 10 minutes. But
we could have done that, and then there wouldn't have been no honking in the background.
No. This is much funner.
Yeah, you were talking about how you were close to Kittle's place, and I'm sitting there going, is George Kittle like honking at you to get off the phone? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, like, hey Matt, I need to give you some information.
Yes, like I was like, what's going? Like, are you pissing somebody off? Like, what's going on?
No, but I think
they were just driving by to somebody else.
Or pissing off other drivers. Yeah.
Well, Matt, look, we appreciate it, man. We're glad that you had a safe flight and that you were able to hop on with us once you got off that flight, man. And enjoy Nashville and enjoy the game, and enjoy if you're going into the restaurant, enjoy that place as well.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, as he's talking, you just hear people honking and everything. I'm like, what's Matt doing?
Appreciate him squeezing in, because he had just landed. I'm sure he drove into his hotel, and then he said it was going to be a tight window, so I appreciate him coming on.
Absolutely. When we come back, if you've ever wanted to give the bird to anybody, Michigan is going to show you how to do it as we continue on 104.5 The Zone.
Don't know. For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 24 years. We've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we're now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small-town mechanic starting in the barn of a backyard of a single-wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you also get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. And always tell them Blaine said you.
Wrapping up the Friday show as we are getting you ready for Titans 49ers tomorrow night, 6 p.m. is when the kickoff will happen right here on 104.5 The Zone with one Mike Keith, Coach Mack, Red Bryan, as well as you will be hearing Ramon Foster. But before all of that, you will get Countdown to Kickoff with Blaine. What kind of cookie is that, by the way? Because you're eating a cookie, it's making me hungry.
Chocolate chip, man.
Oh, man.
It's my favorite, man.
So with Blaine, with B-Hop, with Kayla, with Buck, that will begin at 3 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. So all that's taking place. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be honest as you want to with this, but has there ever been somebody or something that you just wanted to give the bird to? Just be honest. Like, is there anybody or anything that you've ever said, you know what, man, I just love to put two fingers in the air and walk away?
Sister Jean.
My heavens.
Who?
She is a woman of the Lord, and you want to give her the bird.
She is my enemy.
Not making sense, Reed.
No, the Loyola Chicago.
Yeah.
When they beat Tennessee. And they showed her 24/7.
The time.
She is my worst enemy.
That's like giving the bird to your grandmama.
Seriously.
No, it's not.
It's like walking up to a nun and just giving her two fingers in the air and walking away.
Something you didn't like?
No,
I mean, what?
She deserves. I just. That was top 5 the maddest I've ever been after a basketball game or after any sporting event with my teams, and them just continuing to show her she is my worst enemy.
Oh, man. I did not know we were going to.
I said be honest.
The bird.
I mean, he was honest. I mean,
it was because they showed her on TV so much, but it was really because they beat you guys.
Yes. If you ask all my friends who I hate most in the world, they will tell you Sister Jean.
Never in my life did I think that the answer to this question would be my bitter enemy is a 104-year-old woman.
Oh, my.
She's 104,
I don't know if I can top that.
Good for her. Good for her. Don't care.
I don't know. If
She's lived through at least one world war.
Oh, my.
I mean, a depression.
Oh, man.
She's been through a lot. And somewhere she's sitting there being a nice little old lady, and Reed's like, I hate that woman.
I bet you I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one, because I also think that Slay said something like that before. I really think that he doesn't like Sister Jean either, just because of that.
Oh, my. So it's a UT thing.
It's a UT thing. It's all a Tennessee thing.
Who you want? Since you brought it up, who's your finger to?
Oh, well, there's way too many that I could mention. Some of them are probably listening right now. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people that I'd love to give some just double birds and walk away from.
I really don't know.
I mean, just want to give them double birds. The reason I asked the question is because Michigan, who is now had their former head coach, Jim Harbaugh, is on like a 4-year show cause. He's got a 1-year suspension from the NCAA. Obviously, he's now the head coach of the LA
Just in case
Chargers.
he gets fired and he wants to come back to college.
Just in case. But Michigan has said, you know what? We're totally giving the NCAA the double bird on August 31st. Because they just announced that they are planning to honor Jim Harbaugh during the football season, making him the honorary captain for the season opener against Fresno State. They are bringing him back to Michigan, to the big house, to walk to the 50-yard line as the team is doing everything to honor him, even though he now has the show cause and the suspension of going, we don't care. We have the national championship. We don't care.
Well, it was really just against them anyway. They didn't even really do too much to Michigan. Like, they're not going to take the national championship back or anything like that, right?
No,
this is all about COVID stuff.
Yeah, this is all about
nothing to
recruiting
do
violations.
with the sign stealing allegations.
Right,
yet.
there's two separate.
But
incidents.
once that comes out, I think there's a chance that they could take it away.
Oh,
but you can't take away a national championship to fans.
No,
but not to the fans.
But they're going to take it away from the record books,
and then no one would be a champion, right?
No, absolutely not. On the F&M Bank chat, Eric says, I want to give the bird to Buck when he's hating on the Titans. This has everything with Harbaugh has to do with recruiting and people that were contacting recruits that shouldn't have been and all of that. But Michigan says, you know what? We're just going to bring you back anyway. Let's have an honorary head coach or let's honorary captain.
I love it.
I mean, it's almost like USC should have done this with Reggie Bush. Like after they took his Heisman away.
Yeah.
Like bring him back the very next game and just let him just walk onto the field and everybody cheer. But yeah, Michigan giving the NCAA the bird after he has had his suspension and everything. 4-year show cause, 1-year suspension by the NCAA. Don't care.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Oh, by the way, didn't mention Keyshawn Vaughn is on the 49ers, former Vanderbilt guy.
Oh,
so,
he is?
Yeah, he's a depth piece. They signed him and someone else. But, so we'll be looking for him, too. But, I'd give the double bird to just disrespectful people. Just being disrespectful.
Oh, Sister
just
Jean.
disrespectful.
Oh, that's great.
So that's basically what he's saying.
Yep,
Sister Jean was disrespectful.
All right, we'll see who you want to give the bird to on Monday afternoon.
Very disrespectful.
Monday afternoon, we'll see who you want to give the bird to. But 3HL coming up next. So in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.